So we're doing the stop and go exercise, and here I asked Samba to stop. She stopped and kept her head down, but then kind of dribbled forward a little bit, and I stopped her again. She's being very obedient. She was walking forward with her head down there, and I'm going to ask her to stop again here. She kind of dribbles forward a little bit, but look, she stepped forward into it and stood fairly square. So there's another stop. Yep. I'm trying not to pull back at all when I ask her to stop. I reread the section of your book on stop, the chapter, and so I'm just trying to raise the reins a little bit, and if anything, soften the contact, give it forward a little bit when I stop, so I'm not pulling back on her. There you can get a good look at a stop here. You really can't tell that I raised my hands, but I do sit up a little. And she stopped instantly, very obediently. Now I like how she is starting to really reach down. And I asked her to stop there, and it wasn't instantaneous and abrupt like she usually does. She did raise her head a little, but she seems a lot more relaxed about stopping, at least in that instance. There I asked her to stop, and she rolled forward a little bit, but she kind of squared herself up. Now here I'm going to ask her for a stop. And I raise my hands just a little. She stops, and look how square she is. Now as I come around the curve of the circle this time, I'm going to ask her to do move out to make the circle a little bigger. And she's doing a nice move out, and now I'm going to ask her to stop, and she just freezes in place and keeps her head down. That was really pretty. Now she also still has her moments when she won't stop, and she just keeps going on, and I really have to brace and stick my feet out and really lean back to make her stop. Especially when she gets into her head that she wants to go down to the other end of the arena. Now this is going to be another example of coming around the side of the circle, and I'm asking for move out here. And she is moving laterally, and now I'm going to stop her. So here I'm going to ask Samba to move off. I'm just going to ask her to walk. And she's really keeping her head down here. I think she's having a revelation. I'm asking for a little bit of move out to get on my circle. And she's really going slowly and carefully. And she's doing just right. There she lost her balance just for a second. And now I'm asking her to stop. And look at how she stops with her head down like that. So I gave her a big reward. And now I'm going to ask her to go again. So as we come around the circle here, I ask her to trot. And she hears me, but she kind of ignores me. So I ask again. And now she steps into it. And kind of stutters to a walk again. I get her going again. And I think it's really interesting how she's starting to figure this out. I asked her to stop right there, and as usual, she throws her head up. But she's waiting for me to tell her what to do next. And I'm going to ask her to trot again here. I feel like I need to ask her for a little bit more impulsion there. She's kind of petering out and just stepping into a walk again, here and there. So I'm clicking, click, clucking as necessary to keep her going. There I asked her to stop, and she did very nicely, very obediently. So we trot again. And I'm asking for a little bit of move out at trot, and she picks up the pace and she starts stepping under herself more. And there I stopped her again. Very good. So she's doing good. So this is actually a different day. It's the following day, and I'm riding Samba again, and we're starting out with the stop and go exercise. I'm trying to ask her to stop a little more often around the circle. There I stopped her, and you could see that I loosened the rein a little to give forward, and it's kind of interesting to see what develops here. I stop her, and she puts her head down. She just kind of volunteers it. And here I stop her again, and she puts her head down. Give her a pat, we go on. Another stop. And I didn't stop her that time. She had her head down, and I just let her go like that. She seems to be exploring the sensations here. Please tell me this isn't some kind of evasion. I'm sure regular dressage people would have a fit that she's behind the bit here. But I'm not pulling her back at all. I'm just letting her do what she wants to do. I'm giving her a little bit of a contact to stretch into. She doesn't want much. There she put her head down again. It's just interesting to see. She gets a little bit better each day. And she's not perfect at every stop. There I make her wait. When she seems like she's just going to keep rolling forward, that's when I make her wait a little bit longer before I ask her to go on. So here we start to do a little bit of the stop and go exercise at the trot. And I ask her to stop. She puts her head down, head up initially, and then she puts her head back down again to go. And we trot on. Stop her again. That time she kept her head down. I really don't know what she's doing there. We trot on. I stop her again. And she's doing better at keeping her head down as she stops. It's still not reliable, it's not consistent, but I do think she's getting better day by day. That time I dropped the reins, I don't know why. We're going to do a little turn on the hindquarters here in order to get turned around. Go in the opposite direction. I wish I'd had this horse about 30 years ago when I was first trying to learn to trot, and I got on this big giant Hanoverian in Germany, and the instructor got that horse trotting, and I hung on for dear life, and it has scarred me ever since. I've been so scared to go fast. This is the horse to learn to trot on. She's got such a nice little trot. She's just so soft in my hands, and it takes so little to influence her. to do move out or do turn in. If I were better at giving the aids, she would be a better horse. Because she's ready, I think, to do a lot more than what I'm capable of. And I'm holding her back, but she's teaching me a lot. So we're just doing the trot here, doing lots of stops. And she's doing good. I think she gets a little bit better every day. And I'm able to stop her exactly in front of the camera.